Here are today's episode highlights.
Bienvenidas. This is literally one of our very first episodes of December and our last kind of episodes of the season 3. Oh. We are going to tackle the holiday blues. And that's why I'm wearing a blue skirt. Award-winning trauma therapist, consultant, speaker, founder of, hear this, Latinx Therapy. Let's welcome our fifth comadrita, the wonderful Adriana Alejandre in the house.
We all need just tools to help cope with everything that's going on in our lives.
Oh my God, we're getting ready to end this year and I'm not where I want to be.
2025 started out rough. I live here in Los Angeles in the San Fernando Valley and you all know that we had the wildfires and then immediately once they were contained, you know, the ice raids started.
It's okay not to feel okay during the holidays.
It's normal. Depression presents as irritation and impatience. And so I think, you know, the more that people are stressed out, the more they're likely to push you away.
People are lonely in America. Matter of fact, yesterday I got an alert from USA Today why Americans feel more lonelier than ever.
To assume that everybody's doing great because they're dancing around, jumping around and being happy-go-lucky is not really true.
I think as Latinas, we're very emotionally dependent as well on our families because we're naturally from a collectivistic society. We value that.
Like when you hear, you know, like gossip and how do you handle it when you have to show up?
We don't want to have boundaries when
Give
we
us
argue.
an example of what an argument with boundaries looks like.
And I just started feeling a lot of pressure where like, I just didn't even want to celebrate Christmas, but I had two little girls.
My goodness, when was the last time I had a family Christmas card?
Yeah.
And just feeling like inadequate.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you know, like I do photography, yet I haven't taken a picture of my daughter and I. Just feeling that guilt.
Is there something else besides finding those moments of gratitude that can lead you closer to joy?
How can we have balance when we're freaking stressed out about everything, you know, about finances, money, the kids, and, you know, relationships?
Why are we embarrassed to say,
Yeah.
no regalos porque hoy no puedo?
Yeah.
Este año no se va a poder. Y
Yeah.
punto.
Take a deep breath and give yourself a hug.
Comadres en comunidad, con terapia. I love that.
Yes.
I love it.
Hey girl, welcome! We've been waiting for you! Bienvenida! We are 4 comadres and we are so excited to have you here. I am Argelia.
I am Mindy.
I am Diana.
And I'm Janet. Join us, grab that drink, get comfy, settle in, and get to know us.
As we get down with some real conversations.
And raise that glass to the true power of sisterhood.
Are you ready for us?
This is Comadres Unfiltered.
Salud!
Salud, comadritas. Salud aquí.
Salud.
En casita, en el carro, en el trabajo. It's so early in the morning, I'm already thirsty.
I know.
Boy,
me
what's
too.
in there if you're thirsty, lady?
Hydration.
You
No,
don't
he
wanna
says
know.
that's the mystery
The bling bling
tumbler
drink.
People will
Mystery
always
tumbler.
wonder, what's in that bling bling tumbler, huh? RG's.
We just
Am
don't
I the
know.
only one drinking something out of the mystery?
Yes.
Oh.
Well,
I
I'm
think
drinking
so. I
tea.
think you're leading the charge today.
Oh, it's going to be a fun day. Fun
Oh,
day.
but look, we have tea over here. Nice.
Yes.
got tea.
I got my tajin tea.
I
no,
love
not tajin.
Okay, you got tajin because you got probably tequila in there, girl. Michelada. Ya se
mix
descubrió
that.
la comadre Diana.
Ay, Dios.
Sí.
Ay, Dios. Un tequilita bien calientito.
Is it-
Ay,
yes.
qué rico.
Ella solita cae. You know when I thought about it, this is our one of our last episodes of the season. I wonder if Dee's gonna surprise us one day with her famous tequila. Remember when you surprised us with your famous tequila bottle the very first time we were
yes.
decorating our room?
Was
back
that
in the day.
I thought
back
that
in
was
the
our
day.
first meeting.
Exactly.
No, it was our first
that's
podcast
right.
Yes.
planning meeting.
And you came with a beautiful bottle of tequila, que ya no ha regresado, por cierto.
I know.
I know.
That
so,
was a nice bottle, though.
Right?
That's
I gotta
beautiful
say.
bottle. Yeah.
But we might need a pop bottle today after this episode. So as you know, comadritas, bienvenidas. This is literally one of our very first episodes of December and our last kind of episodes of the season 3. And we chose a topic that I think is appropriate for the times that we are living.
Absolutely.
For many of us, it's joy, right? Especially when we have kids in the house, because let's be honest here. If you have kids, the kids are the spirit of the holidays. I've always said it. It just takes it up a notch in a beautiful, magical way. If you don't have kids, it's still magical. It's still beautiful. But today we're talking about all the emotions that come across our way that are not just joyful emotions. Many of them are heavy ones. Many of them are lonely ones. And because, let's be honest, we turn on the TV and we see commercials left and right, ads, and everything's like Hallmark picture perfect, right?
Oh,
like
families, couples, everybody laughing.
O sea,
Yes.
todo
So
es
joyous.
color de
And it's been a rough year.
rosa.
Sí.
And
Yes.
not just TV, social media.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't even watch TV anymore, but social media, it's all perfection. Everybody's perfect.
Or the opposite. It's like a trauma dumping on the social
Yeah.
media, right? Like we're seeing everything that's happening and we can't help but to feel, right?
To feel because we're human.
Yeah.
As mothers, as daughters, as amigas, right? We have to dump things during the holiday season. But because it's the holiday season, you're like, no, me voy a ver muy extra, or like the Grinch. But no, we need to learn how to process these emotions that are real during the holidays. And comadritas might be feeling the same way right now, listening or watching us through the Spotify or the YouTube or the iHeart or wherever you're watching. This is why today we are going to tackle the holiday blues. And that's why I'm wearing a blue skirt. See, I gotta like pump up the mood,
There was
right?
a reason behind that
There-
skirt.
Coma,
Yes.
you know me.
Oh, yeah.
Todo es
There's-
intencional.
Everything has an
Intentional.
intention.
But yeah, we're tackling the holiday blues, and we're tackling it with an expert. So, Janet, I want to
love
commend you
experts.
for searching through cielo, mar y tierra for an amazing therapist. And she's just not a regular therapist. Like, we've been trying to hunt this person down. Que no?
Yes,
That
we've been-
was like your mission of
We've
season
been
3.
waiting for her because we need her expertise. We do.
Absolutely. Yes, we do.
Expertise to help us heal.
Yeah.
And she's amazing at that. Matter of fact, let me read the extraordinary curriculum. We are honored to welcome an award-winning trauma therapist, consultant, speaker, founder of, hear this, Latinx Therapy. I'm pretty sure you've seen it on your social media because that's how I came across Latinx Therapy. She's an incredible advocate for our Latino community. She has worked with survivors from tragedies like the Las Vegas shooting and Hurricane Harvey. And she has created access to mental health resources for our community in a way no one has done before. So let's take a deep breath, comadritas, because it's part of the process
Ooh,
and
do
the
we
journey.
need that deep breath?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And let's welcome our 5th comadrita, the wonderful Adriana Alejandre in the house.
Adriana, great to have you here.
Adriana,
so excited.
And I just read a snippet of your bio, girl, because I read the long bio, and my goodness,
lot.
you are
She's
so
been
humble.
busy. Yeah. She's been busy.
so humble.
Girl's tired.
Girls tired, right?
I know, but she's so humble because Janet asked her for her bio, and she, in an email, sent her a very brief bio. But then she's like, "Oh, but here are some attachments." And I saw the long bio, and I was like, "Whoa, that is you've been working hard since
2018.
2018."
Wow.
Well, thank you for listening to Janet.
Thank you for your patience.
You, Alejandra. No,
Thank you.
I'm just happy you're here. I mean, we've wanted you on for a while. There's been so much going on, and
So much.
there's always something going on, right? And then on top of that, I just feel like we all need just tools to help cope with everything that's going on in our lives, and hopefully maybe to help others that are around us as well.
Especially
Yeah. So
towards the
excited.
end of the year. I think
Yes.
that
Yes.
once you're
Yes.
coming, you're inching your way towards the end of the year. Starts around October.
Yes.
Yes.
Adds a whole nother layer.
It's a whole
Yeah.
other layer of
Yeah.
like, oh my God, we're getting ready to end this year and I'm not where I want to be. Like,
Yeah.
what have I accomplished? Or maybe you went through a breakup like myself.
Right.
So we're going to dive into so many of these things that
So-
all
so
of us
we
are
are.
going through.
We are, but let's start first with you.
Yeah.
How are you feeling, one, and how has your 2025 been as a therapist, as a woman, as a Latina, as a mom, as a wife, as a dog mom too?
Yes, all the identities. No, pues 2025 started out rough. I live here in Los Angeles in the San Fernando Valley, and you all know that we had the wildfires, and then immediately once they were contained, the ice raids started, and so it's been very rough occupationally and personally because we're part of the community too that's being targeted. So, it's just been very back to back with a lot of different sorts of chaos in society. Pero I'm grateful to have the community support and the energy as well to be able to be there for the community and create programs that don't exist.
And the platforms, like,
that's great.
I'm amazed. It's like Janet was trying to get a hold of you for the longest time to talk about precisely about those issues that were affecting us as communicators, at podcasters. Like, what can we do to contribute, right, to the healing process when we're also battling these issues, like
our own feelings, right?
Like our own feelings, our own fears. But then we have this responsibility that we've given ourselves to lighten up the load for our comadritas. And that's why we were searching for an expert like you. But we knew from the get-go that therapists have been extremely bombarded and busy. So thank you for the time. But I guess the one thing I want to start off with, it's okay not to feel okay during the holidays.
It's normal. It's expected. I think we need to do better as a society to normalize that within our own households, first and foremost, and then among our comadres, right? Among just out in public as well. It's normal to not be okay.
Yeah.
And that's honestly throughout the whole year, but especially at the end and at the start of the year.
It
it's
kicks
rough.
in.
That just made me feel better. Just you saying that.
See.
It's okay not to feel okay during the holidays.
How can people support if you know that somebody's going through it or somebody doesn't like the holidays? How can you support that person?
Well, I think that there's various different ways because we all have different personalities and ways that we want to be supported, right? So I think it's important to ask somebody, how would you like to be supported? However, not everybody has the same level of awareness as to what they need for their own support. Like, for example, sometimes I can identify in a sibling, in one of my siblings, that they're moody and they haven't realized that they're moody just yet, right? And then they tell me later on, oh, I guess I am in a bad mood. I'm sorry, right? So it's just like different level of awareness. So I think it's really important to be patient with the person as well, because a lot of times, this goes for all ages, depression presents as irritation and impatience. And so I think, the more that people are stressed out, the more they're likely to push you away or be annoying. But that's, they don't know how to communicate what's going on or what they're feeling. Entonces, I think asking, being patient, and also making sure that you're okay and that their emotions aren't giving you anxiety.
Wow. Talking about anxiety, so loneliness, let's tackle that. I think, I work in radio, and one of the number one songs that we play and that hits home and that people request and request and request is one of Los Bookies, which talks about being alone, like not having the love of your life. But in this case, it could be family, right? That's in a different country, or losing someone through grief or through a breakup. But I just feel that people are lonely in America. Matter of fact, yesterday I got an alert from USA Today why Americans feel more lonelier than ever. And that struck a chord, right? Not too long ago, I shared some beautiful pictures of our Friendsgiving. And a friend that lives far from me literally left me a message emotionally saying, I am so envious, in a good way, of the circle of friends that you get to hang out with. And I know I have you, but I'm not there with you. And it hurt me. Like, it hit me like, it made me feel like she portrays this, I'm good, I'm life is perfect. I got my kids, I got my husband, I got this beautiful home. But at the end of the day, only people know what really goes inside when you're in your own privacy. So even sharing pictures on social media, which we'll talk about social media right now, but people admit to feeling lonely. How can we make them not feel lonely besides inviting them and to not feel lonely, but they still feel like it's not enough?
Yeah, that's also a hard question. But I think when I think of loneliness, it's, and thinking about the clients that I've helped through this, it's about a lack of connection. And this lack of connection can be with your own self, your own identities, with your community, so not having community support or being involved, or with your lack of connection to family. And, sometimes it's necessary to lack that connection for your own safety. But sometimes we don't have a good balance, right? Maybe what I hear often is like people are in a toxic relationship and they separate themselves from people that once really supported them. And then when that relationship ends, they don't have anybody, right? they've broken ties to people that were once healthy for them. And it doesn't just have to be in relationships. Like there's family estrangement that happens as well. So I think, staying in touch consistently throughout the year, and consistently is going to look different for you, from me, right? Because my schedule, my consistency with my friends is like, once every 6 months, to check in. But I think also making sure that you have that relationship with them to say like, hey, I know I don't check in as often, or I know I'm checking in much more than usual. Is that okay?
Yes.
Like just how can you have more authentic conversations with your loved ones about the kind of support that you have capacity to offer?
And that's powerful, because I think sometimes we think that we need to have 50 plus friends to feel connected or accompanied.
That is so true. You just need a few.
And you just need one. As long as one person is able to listen to you, whether it's a comadre, whether it's your mom or your sister, la vecina, a coworker, a therapist, as long as I think we have one person who truly listens and understands, but also that person that feels lonely is able to connect. So what you said is powerful, because I think we need to get over the fact that I don't need un millón de amigos, like the song says. I just need one friend or one person in my life to feel visible and connected.
I think it's funny that you said that when I was listening to that, because with the whole thing with belonging, inclusivity, right? So you can invite somebody to the table and there can be a million people at the table and they're always out, but they feel lonely too, right? Because they don't feel like they belong. They don't feel that connectivity. And that's something that it's sometimes difficult to see, because they do look like they're always out. They do look like they're participating, but they don't feel like they belong and they feel very lonely. How can we spot that? And if we're feeling like that, what else can we do so that we do feel that connectivity?
Yeah. Well, I want to say, because this just popped into my mind, that can we also just normalize having mental health resources at our Friendsgiving and holiday parties?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Great.
Can we just normalize, just for anybody that needs it, like put it up on your fridge, like just the crisis text line, my directory, just any type of support group that's available, like just normalize having that as like a visual when you have guests coming over, because you never know who's going to snap a picture of it and use it, on their own, because we know that mental health is still very stigmatizing, and not people will admit that they need help or support. I think there's a lot of that conflicts with my answer for that, but I think within yourself, it's about a lot of reflection, internal reflection as to how am I feeling, how am I doing? And I really recommend that people do this reflection at the end of their days. If you can't do it daily, can you do it once a week? Can you do it once a month? We have to start somewhere.
Check in with ourselves too. Yeah.
And then what I do with clients is also create a list of, think of it like a safety list, but a list of contacts who you feel comfortable. Typically for us, my clients, I'm the last one, right? I'm the last one on their list, but they have other people. Maybe it's a parent. Maybe it's a really good friend. Maybe it's about petting their dog, because we know that animals are, can provide that sort of connection as well. There's research out there on that. So, just what is that list that you can go to that helps you feel more connected? Because there's also an issue within loneliness of disconnection from our bodies. We disconnect our emotions and our bodies, and we get very numb. And that's a coping mechanism.
We went through, some of us have gone through that.
Yes.
Where you want to feel something, even if it's negative or positive, but it's like, why do I feel indifferent? When we feel indifferent, that's when I'm like, red flag. This is something's happening. This should bother me, or this should like give me joy. And a lot of people this year have felt that numbness.
Yeah.
So when we get to that level, we need help.
You just go numb. But I want to rewind a little bit about what you said about being around circles and these Friendsgiving events, right? And also Thanksgiving. It's that sometimes the people that are going through the most pain, they don't show it.
Yeah.
Some people are great at hiding that pain. Yeah. I mean, I've been through that before myself. As a little kid, it was like kind of like a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Growing up with a really tough childhood, living with an alcoholic parent, and then being the funniest girl at school. People thought, but you look so happy. But deep inside, I was miserable. Never wanted to go home. So you have that with you. You take it into your adulthood, and you know how to disguise your pain very easily. Like I said before, it's almost like a defense mechanism. Right. So you kind of play it off. So sometimes people can't tell if somebody in that table or in that friends group isn't happy because you're showing up differently.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is, the greatest advice I can give is talk to people, and not just on the surface.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how's it going? Oh, it's going great.
Yeah.
Like, how are you doing? Really? Like, I know you went through a breakup recently. How are you doing, and how can I be there for you?
Yeah.
I think that's important. To assume that everybody's doing great because they're dancing around, jumping around, and being happy-go-lucky is not really true. So many people are going through so much pain.
Especially if you know that they've been through some kind of trauma recently.
Especially
like, we have friends that
that
have gone through the fires, they lost their homes. I actually, we were just tired just before the mics went on. I said, hey, how's our friend, who lost her home in the fires? I haven't heard from her recently. And I just sent her a text right before our mics went on. I was like, you know what? Let me just send her a little text. How are you?
Yes.
That's it.
During the holidays, because
you don't know.
her tree.
Yeah.
See, but this mechanism that Mindy just brought up about disguising the pain and hiding it, how long can you do that? I mean, is that like something that becomes such a habit where you can get too lost within who is the real person now?
You're asking me how
I'm
long
asking
can you do that?
you, but I'm asking the therapist, like,
because I can tell you
how long. I mean, we know
I went through
mid-50s, and if you just talked about how you've been carrying or doing this since you were a child. I mean, can this go on forever?
Yeah, it can.
Oh yeah, you become a master. I mean, I'm just talking about myself. Like,
See.
you can become a master of disguising it.
But is there a point where you one day just like explode, like this, a nervous breakdown per se? Does that happen? Because that's a lot on your shoulders, Coma. I mean, I've gone through it too, but I don't think I can. Right away, I start like, I can't.
Yeah.
But
no, don't get me wrong. No, you only hide it within the group. No,
See.
in your home. No, you let it out.
No, I know that. I'm talking about the
you let it
public
out.
face.
Yeah. Oh no, you release it when you feel incredibly comfortable with people. And I've released it with you girls.
You have. You have.
A
which
lot. I unload on people that you feel safe. It's just like safe space.
Of course.
So the people that you feel like you can let your guard down, that's when you let it all out. Those are the people where you feel safe. Then the rest of the people that don't actually go into asking you, how are you really doing? Then you kind of hold back on it. Because let's face it, there's judgment also. Oh gosh, she's still going through that. Oh, she can't get over it.
Yes.
There's a lot of judgment.
That's why having a therapist is so important because number one, a lot of people just don't have those trusted individuals where they don't where they feel like their personal information is going to get injected into the conversation or the opinions, and they're not experts.
Or the cheese man.
Exactly.
Or it becomes a lecture. Or like a
becomes a
competition
lecture.
of like the
trauma sharing.
Yes.
Trauma.
And so you mentioned, the masking, and I just want to briefly share that it is a coping mechanism. It is a defense mechanism, and our bodies go into that sort of numbness because it senses, your brain believes that there's a threat and it's trying to protect you. And it just happens automatically. You can't control it. And I think eventually, to your question, can you get out of it? I think if, again, going back to that certain level of awareness, you can get out of it. But in therapy, it's really important that we don't just go cold turkey and because our bodies need to assess, am I actually safe? This is called neuroception, where our bodies are always scanning the environment. Am I safe here? Am I safe to talk to you all and give you this information? Yeah? Okay, then I'm going to, not be so closed off and reserved. Entonces, we do that in every single context with every single person that we come in contact with. Wow. And if they remind us of someone unsafe in the past, our bodies are going to shut down.
And you hold back, right?
You hold back.
Like it reacts. Your body literally reacts to that.
Yeah. Your body and your mind.
Like a clam. Isn't it the body? The body is just amazing of how it's able to act and shut down in like
it's doing it to protect us at the end of the day.
So you have to
crumble.
In therapy, you learn where you're actually safe, because sometimes your brain will think, I'm not safe here out of habit, when you actually are. And so in certain moments, it's not a helpful defense mechanism.
Sí.
We can see that in dating. Sometimes people are just like, they just shut down because they're like, no, it's just too close to the association, right?
Yeah.
Pero maybe it is safe. They're just not giving themselves that opportunity because of past experiences.
Or maybe you're too, you let go too much, right? You're like, yeah.
Everyone's different. Todo depende. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You mentioned safety, and a lot of people usually feel safe inside their homes, with their immediate family. And there's been, maybe it's not a trend of behavior, but it's a trend of talking about it, because I feel like it's out more. I mean, Oprah just did a special on removing yourself from your family because you don't feel safe.
Yeah.
I know that, speaking of Latino families, we're economic refugees, most of us. And so there's a lot of trauma that comes with that, especially with first-gen kids. And there's been a lot of talk about this, right? Removing yourself from situations. How would you address that? How would you address, separating yourself from your family, and or maybe not?
And it seems very extreme, especially coming from Latinos families. When I heard that whole Oprah conversation about like just separating yourself completely, cutting ties with family, I thought, boy, that is so extreme.
For Latinos, because for us,
Especially for
families
Latinos,
are
is
everything.
everything.
It's sacred.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that?
It's your safety circle, apparently.
it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be.
But for a lot of people, it's not. We don't know what happens behind closed doors a lot of times. And oftentimes there's been different levels of abuse as well. So, at some point people realize, I need to get out of here. Or this isn't a person that's ever going to change. This isn't a person that's ever going to help me, validate me. This isn't a person I can set boundaries with. And so typically when they get to that point, it's time to create that level of estrangement. And estrangement can happen in different ways. It doesn't have to be like that physical, you have to leave right away, because it all depends on, again, your emotional safety and your physical safety. So I will never advise someone like, you just have to get out of there, right? Because it just depends on the situation. So I do support that. I think that it requires a lot of reflection. But I understand people that may do it impulsively because they have a reason. Their bodies are telling them, get out of there. But you could also go ahead and emotionally distance yourself. Because I think as Latinas, we're very emotionally dependent as well on our families, because we're naturally from a collectivistic society. We value that. We prioritize the needs of other people before our own needs. And so, I think, when we look at all of the pieces and the patterns, eventually you come to a point where you're just fed up with prioritizing other people and no one prioritizing yourself. So how can you distance yourself from that emotional disappointment that is so chronic?
Wow. That's amazing to hear, because, like the guilt of, pero es la familia, and it's the holidays, and life is short, and I got to recuperate and repair and rekindle, ¿verdad? Because of the pressures, and it can be exhausting and just draining for someone that just knows their truth, that there is abuse or violence or just not
or
genuine,
gossip.
not genuine love.
Or gossip. There's a lot of gossip within big Latino families. Like, you hear gossip that they're talking about you and making things up, and it's your own family, and it's so hurtful. It's like, why would they say that about us or about me or about
and there's also that like jealousy, also envidia, what we call in Spanish, envidia.
Within the family, that they don't support you, and they don't even ask you like, hey, how's it going? Or I'm so proud of you for what you've done. How can I be there for you? It's almost like sometimes you feel like you get more support from the outside.
Oh my gosh,
the friends, other than the family, and how do you navigate through that? Like when you hear, like gossip, and how do you handle it when you have to show up? Like, we're going to be doing Thanksgiving or the Christmas party, but I know that they've been gossiping about me. Like, do you squash it? Do you ignore it?
That's a
great
question.
Do you just walk in with your, chin up high and be like, I don't care what they say. I know who I am. Like, how do you handle that?
I think it depends on personality too, right? Because like, for example, I'm very passive. So for me, I would probably
blow it off, right?
Yeah, but I'd hold on to the feelings and I'd remember, like, you're not someone I can trust, right? Like, this is a pattern now.
Absolutely.
But for other people that are more assertive, they're going to want to squash it and say something, right? Sometimes it's going to be very emotional, and that's all right too. It just has to happen.
Like approaching the person.
But you shouldn't recommend that during the holiday reunion.
No.
We don't want that to be
that friction.
the memory of 2025,
Yeah.
the holiday dinner, right? So
Yeah.
right now you mentioned, do you squash it? Many people do, but do you do it not during the feast? Maybe take
I do
them
it
out
before, right?
before, after, but not. Oh, so
Feelings are complicated.
Right, but you know, I've seen it.
Yeah.
This has happened.
Yes.
It happened in my family, not like my immediate family, where all I can remember was, oh my God, se pelearon los primos, and they took it outside. And it's like, what? And that's what they talked about.
Yeah.
That's the memory.
Yes.
That's the memory.
So we don't want to squash it during the holiday. We need to control, count to
you can.
10, right?
Sí.
And just say, it's not me, it's them. I can handle it some other day. Creo, no sé. You're the expert.
No, puede ser. I think that you know, that would be very good self-control, or if the conversation and the boundaries can happen before, because I think all of this is due to lack of boundaries. And in our families, they don't like boundaries. I just had this, my siblings are going to watch this. My siblings told me, because I was trying to have an argument, but with boundaries. And they're like, we're not going to argue with boundaries. They're like, that just makes me more upset.
Oh, wow.
And all three agreed. They're like, we don't want to have boundaries when
Give
we
us
argue.
an example of what an argument with boundaries looks like.
Not talking over each other, not raising volumes, you know, like to try to match or one up somebody.
when you're getting all heated up.
yeah,
right, in
not
an
being
argument.
using like profanity or calling each other names.
Yeah,
you know, things.
offending.
And I'm not saying that that's what they
yeah.
did. I'm just
Right.
in general.
I like that. Let people finish their
point.
point
thought.
before you jump on and scream.
And agree to disagree sometimes.
I love that. That should be it, really. If you agree to disagree with everything in life,
Yeah.
we
We're
should
gonna say
be-
what we're gonna say, and if we don't agree, pues ahí los
Let
dejamos.
them. Let them.
Tira la puerta. Just kidding. So I know you mentioned gossip, chisme, the outside world, and the
Yes.
people on the outside sometimes give us more support. Let's talk social media pressures, because I know that Dee brought that up.
I did.
With a lot of
Yeah.
people on social media.
Yeah.
It's
For
heavy.
me, it's and this has happened like the last 2 or 3 years, especially going through a divorce during that time. I just felt like I was scrolling through Instagram, and it's like they know my algorithm, so now they're like, it's okay to be sad, and it's okay, and then like seeing like the perfect families and the couples and the vacations, and look at us posing by the tree with our 2 perfect children, and I just started feeling so, this happened like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And I just started feeling a lot of pressure where like, I just didn't even want to celebrate Christmas, but I had two little girls that they want to celebrate Christmas. So it's been a journey the last few years to like kind of like start letting go of the gas on the social media, or I just start to like not look at that stuff anymore, because I feel a pressure personally. The elf on a shelf, and this person did this big old scene for their elf, and I didn't.
You feeling pressure and
Feeling a pressure.
Como
I don't know
tú-
why, and it's a self pressure.
But there we go.
It's on me.
Let's tackle it. A
Yeah.
lot of women, humans in general, we feel pressure. But there's got to be something deeper than pressure, because no one's telling us, oh, you got to
Right.
be the perfect mom, the
Right.
perfect daughter, da da da.
We put it on ourselves.
I think that at the end of the day, and correct me if I'm wrong, because hearing you, Dee, it's not that we're feeling pressure. Is it that we're feeling that we're failing at something? That we're failing at not delivering what I should be delivering per society standards? Because I feel more, it's like, at the end of the day, it feels like, damn, I'm failing because
Yes.
look
Or
at my
I wish
friend.
I had that.
So that's
I
jealousy.
wish I had that.
So it's not. So what is it that triggers us when we look at social media perfection? When we know that everything that people put up there is just a snippet of their day.
So I'll keep it to Latinas and,
Yes.
and to a nutshell. But we all know what machismo is, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there is a notion for women as well, and it's Marianismo. And Marianismo is a term coined from religion, and it is how close to the Virgin Mary can you be? Purity, being self-sacrificial. It's the role of what a woman should be like. So machismo is what the role of the man should be like, their expectations, and Marianismo refers to the role of the women, that the women should be self-sacrificial, should prioritize the needs of other people, should respect patriarchal values, and
And that is my mother, literally. Her name is Mariana.
Wow.
Her name is Mariana, and everything that you
You're like,
described
flashback.
is my mom.
Yeah.
Which
It's so
her
common.
father chose a name because my grandma didn't want that name for that same reason. But my grandfather was like, va a ser Mariana porque se va a llamar Mariana porque yo lo digo. He chose it.
Wow.
So this feeling is generational.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many different factors, but I do believe that Marianismo is one of them as to why we feel that need for comparison. Plus, our families thrive on comparison.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, tell me about it.
Oh
Yeah.
my
So
gosh,
there's a
yes.
psychology to all of this, and it's integrated in all of the aspects of our lives, the way that we parent, the way that we reparent our own selves, our identities, the way that we go about as women in society, the way that we work, our ethics, etc. So I think comparison is very common. We heard it's the thief of joy, but
Right.
it takes a lot of education of these values and kind of like reconditioning, retraining yourself into more softness, because expectation hardens you, right? It creates that disappointment and tension within your body to achieve something that isn't achievable and that you actually don't want deep down. Everybody's just in a different place in their lives. So I'm thinking of you. What I was going to say is, you know, there's a reason why you got divorced, right? And there's a reason why, you know, 2 years later, you're where you're at today. Like we all have a purpose. And so, yeah, I think that obviously we can't tell what the future brings, but I think getting grounded in our current purpose and what our true desires are based off of things we are needing to unlearn is very important for our mental health.
Sí.
And I'll also bring up, like, also part of that is like the New Year's resolutions, like going back into holidays, like same thing. I see it on Instagram. Like I know I keep bringing up Instagram, but it's because like I guess like my algorithm is like, you should feel like this and start doing this for 2026. And it's like, well, what if I'm not there? And again, it's like reading through it and it just gets in my head. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't do enough, or I was supposed to do this year, or I should be feeling this way. And it's like this pressure. So yeah, like the last 2 years, I actually stopped looking at my Instagram. I deleted off my phone the last week between Christmas and New Year's because I'm like, it's too much.
So that's your mechanism.
And that's,
to
it's
stay away.
really, I just do that because I've learned in the last 2 years, like, don't look at that. You know how you felt that one time. And I'm just like, don't do it. Because then again, it goes back to like, everybody's doing something fun for New Year's. Everybody's with someone. Everybody is doing this and they're writing down what they accomplished this year. And I'm like, maybe I'm not there. And I get like this pressure and I get very depressed. I got really depressed one year and I was like, okay, I'm not doing that anymore.
That's right.
So
That's because you keep comparing yourself.
I keep
also.
comparing
You're
myself.
looking at that Instagram.
There's also
looking at all
like,
that, and then you're getting the Christmas cards. Here's another thing. We started getting some Christmas cards, and I opened these beautiful envelopes with these families, and I'm thinking, my goodness, when was the last time I had a family Christmas card?
Yeah.
And just feeling like inadequate.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you know, like I do photography, yet I haven't taken a picture of my daughter and I. Just feeling that guilt. And sometimes, you know, even families that are beautiful, they don't have the time to make that Christmas card.
Or the money. I didn't have the money this year.
Or the
and I
money
feel depressed.
to invest in, like, you know, the photography and this and the cars and all that. So how to navigate through that and just feel like it's okay?
Sometimes you just have to ask yourselves,
Yeah.
who says I have to get
Who makes those rules,
professional
right?
photography done? Why can't I just do it with my phone?
Yeah.
Because 20 years from now, you're going to look back and be so grateful that you at least had a picture.
See,
You're not
so
going to
true.
care that it's, you know, professional or not.
Yeah.
and these phones are high quality.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with the filters
And there's filters.
and the apps going on, there is no excuse.
Yeah.
But going back to your topic, D, which I think is very valid, because a lot of us feel like that sometimes. I just noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're here to learn. I caught myself, when I'm in a sad mood, I don't open up Instagram, period. I just don't open it because I know I'm sad. I don't have the energy. I don't have the time. When I'm happy, for whatever reason, I tend to honestly, generally feel happiness when I see people's happiness. Like when I see those pictures and I'm hearting them and I'm putting little hearts and I'm even commenting. But I've caught myself when I'm happy, when I'm in a good mood, when I wake up on the right side of the bed. I'm like, I don't even like you sometimes, but today I like your picture, girl. Yes.
Girl.
Yeah.
So to me, it just tells me that I'm the issue. When I'm in a good place, I'm good with everyone. When I'm
You're
not in
happy
a
for
good
everyone.
place,
Yeah.
I'm not going to compare myself. It's because that's not the issue. I'm happy
Right.
for you that you have that marriage, that you just got a degree, that you just did your shopping at Costco and got the eggs before I did, because people
Yeah.
are doing that too, right?
Yeah.
But I noticed it's what I control. So everyone has a different mechanism.
Yeah.
You stay out because it affects you
Yeah.
clearly. It affects me too.
Yeah.
But I think the root of the problem is our feelings. Right? So how can we turn that into joy? Right? So that we can feel happy for others. And I
Yeah.
bring it up because there's a lot of hate on social media.
Yeah.
And and you know what's even sadder? When the hate is with Latinos and Latinos.
I know.
Latino businesses, small businesses hating on each other. Instead of doing this, let's band together and not be crabs in the bucket where we're just pushing ourselves down. Can we hang on to each other and pull ourselves up? That tells me that we don't know how to feel happiness for others, success and happiness. And that's the issue.
That's loaded. That's loaded because I think there's a lot of reflection that people that are in competition with their own community need to do. And they're likely the people that stigmatize emotions and mental health in general and therapy as a topic itself. So that one's really difficult. Is it possible? I think it's possible, but I think that sometimes people react like that because they're a trauma response as well. And yeah, it's just very complicated. But I think to your other question, it's like, how can we convert, just in a general sense, outside of the competition, how can we convert our emotions to joy? I really recommend that people sit with their, ask, how did this impact my body? What is my body feeling? Am I feeling tension in the stomach? Am I feeling, tingliness in my legs and my hands? Like, where is it coming? Like, going into self-evaluation mode will help you so much in the long run, because it does create awareness that we need in order to connect with our bodies. Because I think 90% of the people that come to therapy with, at least at my practice, and I have a trauma and anxiety focused practice, people don't know how to connect their emotions to their bodies. They tell me, like, I don't know where I feel it. I don't know what that's like. I think I'm good. And good isn't an emotion as well. So it's two skills that we have to learn. We have to learn how to feel in our bodies and learn to sit with discomfort as well. Because I think a lot of times we don't know how to sit with discomfort, and that's a lack of accountability as well.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it is we just don't know what words to give our emotions. And I want to give a quick resource, feelingswheel.com. It gives you emotions, and I really recommend you integrate that into your conversations and emotions into your conversations.
So it takes work.
It does.
We all have the
work.
capacity
We do.
to feel joy again for others. We just have to work with us first in order to
recognize
feel.
the triggers.
Well, that's the first thing.
Yeah, recognize what is triggering me. Why am I feeling this little bit jealousy here?
Yes.
Oh, wow, it's me because of this and this. Okay, great. And then knowing that those are triggers, stay away from the triggers. I would say, turn off the
Until
phone a
you
little
can work
more.
on
you
until I
identify
can
them.
work
So
on
we're-
it.
And to me, that says, we're humbling ourselves down. We're letting the ego throw out the window.
Yeah,
Ego,
exactly.
get out of my life. Pride, get out of my life.
Yes.
We need to humble down. And count our
that's hard.
blessings. And count our blessings too. I
It's
think
hard for
many of
people
us
to do
forget
that.
to count our
Recognize
blessings.
those
Even if it's
blessings.
one blessing, let's count that blessing.
I love that you
bring
say
us
that.
joy back
Yeah,
again.
exactly.
I love that you say that, because I think joy is rooted in just being grateful.
Yeah,
Right.
gratitude.
So it is counting your blessings. It is understanding what you have and not what you don't have. And I think part of it's funny because I go back to one of our episodes with Colombia Fit. Maria.
Yes.
Maria from Colombia Fit. And we were just talking about how unhappy we are because we're not where we want to be, right?
Physically,
and,
yes.
And she said something that stuck with me, and she said, but look how far you've come, right? And so I think instead of focusing on where we're not yet, it's just realizing that we've come a long way in our own journey, and sometimes that self-reflection and just being grateful like finding those moments of gratitude has helped. But I mean, is there something else besides finding those moments of gratitude that can lead you closer to joy?
I think joy is a practice, and we need to integrate balancing rest, because if you are not well rested, if you are continuously prioritizing other people and invalidating your own self, how are you going to find joy under those conditions? You know, I think we have to find joy within ourselves internally by being balanced, and then, you know, externalize the joy.
Yes.
So I think balance takes a huge part in this.
And when you say balance, talk about balance, it means that you are in peace with yourself, also that you're not stressed out, right? Because a lot of us, how can we have balance when we're freaking stressed out about everything, you know, about finances, money, the kids, and, you know, relationships? I mean, it's so, when you say balance, yes, it is tough to balance that out.
Well, I think balance, do you mean balance like, okay, let me take care of me, but also let me take care of my rest, my sleep. Let me take care of how I eat. Let me take care of my calling my mom, or my kind of like checking boxes in a way, but for our own mental peace. I did this, I did that. I think that's what balance is, right? Balance, you know, having your connections, but also with your sisters, not just your girlfriends that you party with. I'm not saying you, Mindy. I'm just saying like in general, right?
The small, you know, counting the small wins, I think are good things.
Yeah.
Like I got out of bed today. You know, that's a good one.
Small wins is great.
I like you said,
sure.
I called my mom today. I worked out. For me right now, it's like, I think I'm like in the best shape at the end of the year because I'm so consistent with my workouts. Like I won't miss it, because for me that's like a small win.
Consistency
I won.
is key.
I did my workout, you know. So I think like small wins for everyone right now. Like
Yeah, those are big.
Yeah.
Small
It's
ones
so
become big
true.
things. So I love that.
I love how you all summarize the points. They're so important.
But that's how great you are.
I know.
We're just connecting the
We're
dots.
connecting the dots. Going, oh, we're having aha moments as well. Like, oh, that's right.
Yeah, those aha moments. I think we've talked about where like we dim them out of different episodes where we talked about like that book Atomic Habits, which is like consistency that you just said that just kind of sparked.
Yes.
Which is so true. It's like even you don't rise to your expectations, you fall to your consistency. You know, and what you do every single day, that's how you're going to progress, you know? So even when you don't want to get up out of bed, you have to get out of bed because you have an appointment with yourself at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. or you 5 a.m. I don't know how you do that.
Right.
But yeah, it's like we have to make up and show up, right? And
Sometimes they have to be like little bite sizes, right? Because also for me, it's scary to look too much into the future. It puts me in complete anxiety and panic mode of like, oh my gosh, what if this doesn't turn out this way? Or what if, and then the what ifs turn into fear, you know, and then unhappiness and stress and anxiety. So I think that all of you made a really good point, is bite size, take it day by day. You know, also it's nice to plan some things for the future, right? And if you have a vacation to plan, that's even better, because something to look forward to.
We already have the maletas outside. Ready to go. She wants to take that.
All I'm doing is dreaming. Oh, did you like those?
I love them.
We can give her a discount.
Absolutely. That luggage is so chic.
But you know what? That fear of the future, I think that's a great topic, because right now everyone's like, oh, okay, resolutions, 2026, where do I want to be? And that could be scary. And I know it's going to sound very cliche, and maybe you could talk about how faith comes into therapy. But as Latinos, we're very, you know, many of us are very in touch with God. But when people used to ask me, where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? I hated that question, because I don't know. I have dreams, I have ideas, but I don't know if I'm going to be there in 5 years, because that puts pressure on me, right? Yeah. So one day I'm like, you know what? Literally, Dios sabe la respuesta. Around the corner is my future, and God is leading the way. And as long as I know that God is leading the way and I'm holding his hand, I am going to be fine receiving my future. What it's going to look like, I don't know. And that's the beauty of it. To not really know exactly where I'm going to be 5 years. Girls, I don't know where I'm going to be 5 years. Hopefully we're still here.
none of us do.
Right?
I don't know you'll be here 5 days.
Right? 5 days.
I don't.
But I think a lot of people get stuck on the idea of, I need to know my future.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I
that
need
is
to
the
know.
big mistake. You tell us.
A lot of pressure.
I think it comes from wanting to control. And I do think that it's a form of anxiety. And I'm not saying like they have the diagnosis if this is what you feel or resonate with, but we can have a form of anxiety and want to control our futures and want to see what's going to happen, want to do as much as you can to chase this invisible carrot, right? It's too much. It's a chronic pressure that I think also living in a capitalistic society kind of conditions us to I don't know, to think that way about life.
Yeah.
And it's hard and heavy.
Very.
That's another layer. I mean, just the money, right? I mean, times are tough right now. I think a lot of, we always go back to the holidays because that's the time where we are. But, money pressures. We don't necessarily, see ourselves in the place that we wanted to at the beginning of the year. And so now, with the pressures of buying for holidays, there are so many people that are just not buying gifts or trying to do things a little differently just to...
and not because they don't want to, because they can't afford it. So how do you show
those
up?
Money pressures, and then you see others, right, that do. Or how do you tell someone, or how do you tell yourselves, how do you cope with that feeling of not being where you want to be?
I was going to say about the gifts really quick. Omar just told the family, este año no regalos. No regalos ni de allá para acá, ni de acá para allá.
No me regale nada. Don't give me anything.
Honestly,
the pressure.
We are so blessed just to be here and alive with family.
Yes.
How many people don't have that, right?
Right.
That's the gift.
Yeah.
But to speak it and say it like no regalos literally helped so many family members. Like, thank you. Gracias.
Yes.
Just
that weight got lifted.
Why are we embarrassed to say no regalos porque hoy no puedo?
Yeah.
Este año no se va a poder. Y punto. That's honesty.
Yeah.
I love that.
There's a moment where it's like they also need to be told you're okay, but they don't feel okay. And what do they do with that feeling?
Yeah. I mean, going back a little bit, it's like sitting with that discomfort, right? Are you trying to impress somebody? Do you have pressures from somebody else? Typically, there's external factors. And we have to consider that generations have changed. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was easier to buy a home than what it is today. Inflation has risen to a tremendous, horrific amount. It's very difficult. Look at the homelessness, right, that we are experiencing here in Los Angeles specifically. I'll focus on that. It's just very telling. We went through the pandemic as well. I think people are still recovering from a lot of tragedies that have been experienced. And, let's talk about grief really briefly in general. When people lose their primary, their person of support, the person that brought in the income, there's all sorts of pain. So I think we have to be flexible within ourselves and realistic and know that it's okay to cut traditions. Right, for the sake of helping ourselves, and that may be the case for a few years, or you might have to build a new tradition. Yeah, my siblings and I, we used to gift everybody, and here there's 4 of us, plus our kids, right?
I remember those days, long time ago,
And so, you know what? For the last, I think 3 years, I can't remember right now, but we've just been doing a gift exchange.
Yeah.
What is that one where you pick out the names?
A white elephant? Or a
Secret
Kris
Santa.
Kringle.
We've been doing Secret Santa. And that's been a lot better. And now that the kids are teens as well, they love that.
Yeah.
So it's just one gift. And so we broke tradition, but we created a new one.
I love that.
And I hope people listening that are feeling that financial pressure can also give themselves that permission.
I love that.
There's another layer to it because there's a lot of people who also take care of their families and take care of multi-generational families. So they have to help their parents. Then they have kids and maybe they have siblings that need help. How do those people navigate the pressure?
I identify with that. I was definitely, and I was a teen mom, but my parents helped me through college in a very emotional way. And I held 3 jobs so I could help them pay their mortgage. It's been intense. I don't have my parents with me anymore, but I think, I definitely understand the multi-generational pressure of helping the family and the siblings financially, plus your own kid. And so how do you go about that? I think boundaries are necessary. And every family, that's going to look differently. I think we have to also be okay with having difficult conversations because, you know, in my family, money wasn't expected, but I wanted to provide because I saw how challenging, you know, it was on their, you know, with the money that they were bringing in. But there's clients, people out in the community that have shared that their families demand money out of them.
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
their
Yeah.
families expect
They expect it. Yeah.
beyond the bills, you know, to be
Wow.
paid, almost like a form of resentment, it sounds like, you know. And so I think having internal boundaries as to what is realistic and, you know, having difficult conversations as well is necessary. And I think a lot of people need to learn assertive communication language. I think that's a really big skill, and how to have that, if you want, in a compassionate way. I integrate compassion in a lot of my difficult conversations because I don't want people psychologically defensive. That's not, no es la meta, you know, like I want to have an effective dialogue.
I like that word.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful word to end this episode. Compassion. Compassion with ourselves.
Yes,
compassion with
definitely.
others. Your compassion today and your wisdom and your presence has helped us a lot. And this is, I feel like we just touched the surface, right,
Oh,
girl?
yes.
For sure.
Pero
Just
honestly,
talking about it out loud
helps
just
and
helps.
heals.
Yes.
Yes.
Helps and heals. Just to wrap up this episode, is there one piece of advice that you want to share with our comadritas going through heavy moments?
Maybe people that don't like therapy or don't understand
Yes,
therapy
that's a good one.
and why they should seek therapy.
Okay, so I think you might be thinking of therapy in a very media-centered way, but it's not like that, especially when you're with a therapist that identifies with your culture. If you are afraid, try short-term therapy. Try therapy for 3 sessions. Your goal could be to learn coping skills. And so I want to ground us right now because we did have a very heavy conversation for our nervous system.
We
and for
did.
the listeners too, just with a quick butterfly hug.
Oh,
So what we're going to do is I'm going to invite you to just get relaxed wherever you're seated and kind of deflate from your breath. You're going to cross your arms and place your hands anywhere on your body that feels safe and comfortable where you have sensation. And what we're going to do is we're going to tap one hand at a time, slowly. If you're going fast, that might mean that your body has anxiety trapped. So it's going to be, you can lower your eye gaze or close your eyes, and it's going to be tap, 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 tap. Very good. And so now we can take a very slow breath as you continue to tap and keep your eyes closed or eyes lowered. Tap, 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 tap. And you can say an affirmation like, Yo soy poderosa.
Yo
soy poderosa.
I am enough.
I
I am enough.
Yo puedo.
Yo puedo.
puedo.
And I deserve to heal.
I deserve to heal.
Take a deep breath and release. And give yourself a hug. This is called the butterfly hug. And reorient yourself back here.
Which is hugging yourself, basically. It's like a
Yes.
bear hug. You're hugging yourself.
I do that.
which we need to do that more often.
I do that.
Just like hug yourself.
See?
We hug everyone except for us sometimes. You know?
Yeah.
So hugging ourselves.
In
Hugging
therapy,
ourselves.
you can learn the
Starts there.
compassion hold as well. So there's a lot to learn in therapy.
Wow. The compassion hold is this one?
Yeah, it's just different forms of holding yourself.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's like holding your
I love
face.
that.
And this may sound really strange. I don't know why. Like when I'm having like a hard moment and I'm like crying, I do hug myself. And I always think it's like God. I always say God's hugging me.
God
God's
hugging
telling me.
you.
Like I know it's like my own hands, but I just always say God's hugging me right now. God's holding. He's witnessing this moment. He's with you.
That's beautiful.
I always say, God, take the wheel.
Yes, that
that's
too.
for driving.
That too.
God,
take the wheel of life.
Yes.
Yeah, the wheel of life.
Jesus, take the
Just
wheel,
take
yeah.
the wheel, please. Show me the way.
Yeah.
For me, this sounds funny. My husband makes fun of me, but sometimes I hug my tree. I literally hug my tree because it's nature attached to
Like
earth.
a tree hugger.
I am a tree hugger.
Yeah.
And we'll go to my tree and I hug my jacaranda now because, my sauce died. But hugging the tree grounds me literally and it just gives me this peace. And what you said about God, I'm like, this is your creation. I know I'm feeling the connection right now.
Yeah.
But we have to find our moments of
And mine is just
grace.
sitting on a couch, cuddling up
With the
and then
book.
maybe the book.
Yeah.
Like
I love
sometimes I
it.
just
In
need to
comfort.
cuddle up.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
with a
it's
blanket
comfort.
and a book,
Blanket.
it's comfort.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Comfort.
true. It's just
Se
finding
están
your comfort.
apapachando, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
it
different
is.
ways.
It is.
And
Well, I
find
love
your comfort
that.
zone.
So finding clarity, comfort, and coziness is part of
Compassion.
the holiday season. Compassion. Anything that starts with C.
Yeah.
And find help.
seriously.
Find help if you
Yes.
need it.
Una
It's
copa.
so important.
Latina for me, I know. No, seriously, thank you so much. I know there's going to be
thank
many
you.
questions
Thank
from
you.
our comadritas watching, listening. Every time I do this, I feel like they're all here.
I know.
And then I see our
Us.
podcast and I'm looking everywhere. We have an audience. So we have
Yes,
an
we
audience.
do. We do.
We feel
They're
like
out there. They're
Oprah.
watching. They're watching.
They're watching us.
You get a therapist. You get a therapist.
You need therapy. You need therapy.
Yes.
Adriana, you're a joy. You truly are a
thank
joy. You have a
you.
gift. I know that you've gone through a lot in your own life. Desde chiquita, we share a lot in common, girl. But look at you now. Your purpose and your mission of healing others. Tu papi, tu mami, están muy orgullosos
Must
de
be
ti.
so proud of
thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Where can our listeners, subscribers follow you?
Bueno, you can follow me on all social media platforms, including TikTok at Latinx Therapy. And I do have a YouTube channel with English and Spanish relaxation techniques featuring other therapists. And that's under Latinx Therapy as well. You can find a therapist, latinxtherapy.com or terapiaparalatinos.com.
Me encanta. Oh my
great.
gosh. If you can't find her, it's because you got issues. She's everywhere. Well, there it is, girls. Comadres en comunidad. Con terapia. I love that.
Yes.
I love it.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
And
for
happy
being
holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
A ti.
you.
Yay. Nos
Thank
vemos,
you so much.
comadritas.
That was
We have
so-
one
I
more
love that
episode for
ending.
season 3. We'll see you next week. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry.
Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. We'd love to see your reviews and hear your thoughts. You can also follow Comadres Unfiltered on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more updates. New episodes every Tuesday. Until next time, comadritas.